One morning in March 2026, something occurred that has never been seen before. Not missiles, not explosions, but silence. Europe closed down one after another. Airspace denied, bases closed, planes were forced to retreat in the sky. At the very moment of this, Iran was increasing its control over the Strait of Hormuz, which is the most critical oil choke point on the planet. And suddenly, the world came to realize something horrific. The West was no longer being headed by the United States. It was standing free alone. What occurred, why Europe did it, and how this step can redefine the world power ever. I'm Jay. I cover events reshaping our world. And this is one of the biggest turning points of the decade. The transatlantic alliance has had a basic principle over the decades, which states that as Washington acts, Europe does the same. However, in 2026, this provision broke. The US wanted to have access to its operations against Iran in terms of airspace, military bases, and even logistical support. In its place, coordinated refusal was given instead. Italy sealed its base, which was of strategic importance, Sigonella. The airspace of Spain was closed down. Flights that transported military cargo were denied in France. Germany remained tactfully silent, and the nearest ally of America, the United Kingdom, did not do more than to offer defensive assistance. This wasn't hesitation, this was resistance. European leaders were not only worried about Iran behind the closed doors, they were doubting the very legitimacy of the war per se. No UN approval, no NATO consensus, no collective decision making. This was not a common operation in Europe, it was a one-sided roll of dice. And the consequences were instantaneous. Flights rerouted, operations delayed, supply chains disrupted. The US military that had been using the European infrastructure decades later was now left to sail through a broken continent. However, the more important problem here is that this was not merely about logistics. This was regarding trust. The allies of NATO were at variance during the first time in modern history in large-scale conflict involving the United States. And when that trust is lost, it is very difficult to regain it as compared to keeping it. Because if Europe can say no today, what stops it from walking away tomorrow? As Europe was shutting down, Iran was shutting down much more perilously. The Hormuz Strait, the tightest point of the water, is only 33 kilometers, and yet it contributes almost 20% of the world oil trade. Iran did not only target the United States when it interfered with this route, it was aimed at the whole world economy. Within weeks, the oil prices went over 150 barrels. Energy markets spiraled, shipping routes froze, insurance premiums skyrocketed. This is where the situation is critical. The United States openly stated something outrageous, that it did not require this rate. As the domestic oil production was on high records, Washington indicated that this crisis was not their problem. Rather, it passed the blame to Europe and Gulf countries. The message was to generate your own energy. This was a survival menace to Europe. The continent had swiveled to the Middle East energy after reducing reliance on Russian gas in 2022. And this time, that lifeline was straining. German, Italian, and Eastern European industries started to stretch at the very moment. Heating systems, factories, chemical industries, and so on, which were based on constant energy supplies, became exposed. It was no longer a geopolitical crisis anymore. It was a shock wave of the economy at full speed. And here's the embarrassing fact. In case the strait is not stable, the prices of the energy do not simply increase, they rebrand the economies. It is not a question about war anymore, it's about survival. And there, in that case, who is the energy future controller of the world? Collective defense was the only principle upon which NATO was established. One side of the fire endangers all. However, is war itself the problem? Such was the predicament that Europe experienced in 2026. As far as Europe was concerned, this was not a war of defense. None of the members of NATO had been attacked. No Article 5 had been deactivated. Rather, this was a preemptive action by the United States. And that difference makes all the difference. Since the establishment of NATO, it is not a war starting game. It is all about them being prevented. European leaders started doubting whether they would be infringing the principles that the alliance was established on by supporting this operation. Meanwhile, to be refused by Europe seemed to Washington as betrayal. Centuries of military security, billions of money on security in Europe. Europe retreated now, and Europe retreated when the time of support arrived. This feedback loop was dangerous and was formed by mutual perception of betrayal. Trust eroded, communication weakened, strategic alignment collapsed. And deeper, yet something even more worrying was happening. The United States had already started changing the focus of its military to the Asian region, leaving China ahead of Europe. That shift was only boosted by the Iran conflict, such that Europe is now confronting a reality that it has not wanted to encounter in decades. A new age in which the security guarantees of the Americans are not assured anymore. And in case NATO begins to live on paper, so what is it that is uniting the alliance? Theoretically, Europe is strong, unified, military budget more significant than Russia, millions of troops, advanced technology. However, that is not the case, and in reality, that power is fragmented. 27 countries, 27 armies, 27 command structures. No unified leadership, no single strategy. During decades, the United States has served as the support, intelligence, satellite coverage, missile defense, and strategic coordination. The backbone is becoming weaker now, and Europe is being made to answer a hard question. Is it self-sufficient? Some attempts are already being made: joint defense projects, increased military spending, new air defense systems. However, these changes are not fast, but years, not months. And time is something Europe can't lack. Russia is still a constant enemy. The instability of energy is increasing, and this time the relationship with the United States is creating another level of uncertainty. Analysts have projected that it may cost the United States of America up to $1 trillion to replace the military capabilities in Europe. It is not only a financial liability, it is a strategic change. And changes of such magnitude do not go down easily. Europe is in an absurd position. It is not able to trust the United States completely. However, it is not able to work without it as well. And in that intermediate between dependence and independence, there is a new world order emerging silently. But the real question is, will Europe characterize that order or be compelled to acclimatize to it? This is where we are then. Europe has placed a boundary, the United States has taken it as betrayal, and Iran has made this political crisis global by the turn of the Strait of Hormuz. Prices of energy are increasing, alliances are shifting, and NATO, the strongest military alliance of its time, is undergoing one of the largest tests ever. It is not an in-house struggle, it is a transition point. The West is not speaking with one voice, and when the unity is disintegrated at the top, the results do not remain at the top. They touch your gas bills, your budget, and your destiny. And now I would give you a hearing. Was it the correct choice made by Europe to deny the United States? Or has this step undermined the West when it could do with at least?